The socialist mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has decided to reduce democracy in the capital in order to push for his net zero policies. Alright, let's talk about Sadiq Khan again. So, the mayor of London, who has been pushing for certain things at the expense of the taxpayer and, of course, a centralization of all powers. One of his passions is net zero, and one of his projects is ULEZ, the ultra low emission zones. Initially, it was supposed to be parts of the congested areas in London. Now, in the name of helping the environment and at the same time traffic, these nutters also long term want to get rid of cars and private use of cars. Now, that was supposed to be the case, but then he announced that he wants to completely expand it to the whole of Greater London. The whole of Greater London, which means, what is the point of calling it a zone? It's no longer a zone, it's a whole city. Now, let's talk about this, because initially, the whole point was to get the public consent. As we already reported recently on the channel, he went to the public and they did some surveys, get people's opinion on it, and to also get them to vote on it. And then the result of the report came out. They decided to play around with the numbers, change the result so that it could show that people are supporting Sadiq Khan's project. In reality, that wasn't the case because it was leaked that they clearly changed the result. And now they're doing a similar thing, but even worse. Because in the name of low emission and all this nonsense, they're going out there saying, okay, we are going to ask local councils and local residents what they think. But then they came out and said, well, we don't really need to get their consent anymore. Even though we've had a number of councils, 8 councils at least around London, 5 of them Tory, 2 of them Liberal Democrat, and 1 independent. One is mostly like a coalition of councillors. They oppose it. They've been very vocal that they are against it. But Sadiq Khan's City Hall decided to ignore them, saying, we don't really need your consent. Why? Well, they found a new, basically a loophole to do this. 1,800 new cameras, and we're going to talk about the cost as well in a second, are going to be installed, especially in those areas, without getting the public consent. Why does it matter? And how did they actually get away with this? Transport for London, who's managed by Sadiq Khan, have come out to say, well, that around 2/3 of these cameras will go on existing traffic signals, so we don't need to get consent because we're just putting it on top of the existing traffic signals. And do you know how much it's going to cost? Overall, the whole thing? £160 million extra when it comes to the infrastructure cost to the whole thing. This is absolutely crazy. The whole issue is the fact that they think they can just tell us, well, we found a loophole. Because we already have something there, like a traffic signal, then we don't have to get your consent. You do realize the existing infrastructure for traffic lights and things like that, that was for a different purpose. If you want to put something on top of it that does a different job, you need to respect democracy. You can't just randomly add things to the city without getting the people to vote on it or to actually agree with it. It makes absolutely no sense. Now, the Conservatives, Susan Hall, has come out to make this video against Sadiq Khan. Let's go to Susan Hall, see what she had to say.
Sadiq Khan has lost the argument regarding ULEZ. He's trying to force through his policy. He is insisting that other boroughs in London put up the cameras where they do not want to. There is an overwhelming majority of people against this, and councils are listening to what their residents want, and they're saying no. He's just not being honest with anybody. This is just nothing short of an act of desperation for somebody who wants to get his own way. And it's not just London boroughs, it's surrounding counties as well, because those surrounding counties have got residents there that do not want this to happen because it will cost them money when they drive into London, and then they will just stop driving into London. We need Khan to spend these vast hundreds of millions of pounds, our money I might add, on looking at other ways they can get the air cleaner in London, but outer London does not have the issues that inner London had. He has got to stop this nonsense now. We do not want the ULEZ extension.
I mean, that's a fair point. Why is he focusing on out of London when it comes to ULEZ, when it comes to clean air and all these issues? Clearly, this is a power-grabbing situation. This is just his obsession with control over the public, and he could use it as his legacy in the future when the time comes and when he puts his name forward to stand for, as the Labour Party leader. That is his ambition, and we know that. And when he fails, or if he fails, you can imagine seeing him going to either the European Union or the United Nations, or getting a top job at the World Economic Forum. He's gonna get a good gig anyway, regardless of his success in British politics or for his failures. But we're gonna keep an eye on the ULEZ expansion as usual on this channel, because if it happens in London successfully, be careful, because it's gonna come to your their towns and cities and villages as whereabouts you are, regardless of where you are, because it doesn't matter. It's not about London. This is about the whole country. Anyway, we're going to take a break. I'm going to come back in half an hour. I'm Mahyar, Tousi, and we are the media.